Alright, what's up, everybody? We're finally here, UFC 268. I've been talking about it for months. Last weekend was a great appetizer, but this is a pay-per-view everybody's looking forward to. You know, you got the great rematch, Usman and Covington, and then Rose taking on Zhang Weili again, and Michael Chandler taking on Justin Gaethje. Like, goddamn. But real quick, last weekend, great card, amazing card, especially since it was for free. I did pretty good, just a little hard to profit because the money lines were so wide, and the underdog that hit, I missed. Glover Teixeira getting the thing done, did not expect that. Jan just did not look prepared there, don't want to make excuses for him, but, you know, just did not look himself at all. Glover just took it to him from the beginning, and Jan just could not get going, and got the submission victory. Good for Glover, man, 42 years old. What an accomplishment. But, you know, this card, other than that, I did pretty well. Khamzat and Jingliang Yang. Khamzat looked every bit of minus 500 favorite, looked a minus 1,000 favorite. I don't care, I stand by it. It was the right pick to make because of all the extenuating circumstances. Li Jingliang plus 400 felt disrespectful. In hindsight, it wasn't, but you know, it is what it is. You got to take a shot somewhere. And then Sandhagen and Jan, you know, Jan got it done. Sandhagen looked good early on, but then Jan just started turning it on gradually. Sandhagen got him down a couple times throughout the fight, but, you know, Jan was just able to get right back up. And then Jan was just able to hit him with the more powerful shots. Sandhagen stayed busy, but, you know, Jan's a freaking powerful man, and he doesn't slow down. He gets better as the fight goes on, and, you know, great fight. Sandhagen looked really good. Sandhagen, he'll definitely be back. Then Makhachev and Hooker got that one right. You know, just I thought it would go the distance, and Makhachev ran right through him. I just don't think Hooker was, you know, he was expecting to get taken down. I don't think he was expecting to get put in a Kimura, and by the time he realized he was in it, it was too late. And, you know, Makhachev looked really good, like around 2 minutes, and then Volkov and Tybura, you know, Tybura just could not get a takedown. Volkov kept him at range. Not the best fight, but, you know, good win for Volkov. And, you know, Tybura will be back. Volkov's a very tough guy. He got some experience from it. And, you know, and I made a Ribas and Jandiroba. Ribas got it done. That was the one I was kind of worried about, but, you know, good fight. Jandiroba looked good in the beginning. Anyway, great card overall. I did good. I think I got like 2 or 3 wrong, so whatever, we're on to a new one. No time to look back. UFC 268, we got Usman, Covington, and you got Rose and Zhang Weili, and Chandler and Gaethje. And then you also got Edmen Shahbazyan taking on Nasruddin Imavov. You know, do or die for Shahbazyan, basically. And then you got Marlon Vera taking on Frankie Edgar. Let's see if Frankie can get one more victory here. And then you got Shane Burgos taking on Billy Quarantillo. Huge spot for Billy. Very exciting card, so let's get into it. The first fight on the prelims at 185, you got Edmen Shahbazyan taking on Nasruddin Imavov. Shahbazyan coming off a 2-fight skid, but, you know, losing to elite competition. Last fight, he took on Jack Hermansson. In the first round, he slides forward, lands a jab. He comes forward, throws 1-2s, lands 1-2 to the body. And he stuffs the clinch attempt and the double attempt from Hermansson. He uses double underhooks, which is, you know, the proper defense for that. And then he's able to catch a leg and land an uppercut and then a 1-2 on Hermansson. And, you know, this is the theme of Shahbazyan. He looks really good the first round, all of his fights. You know, he was piecing Hermansson up, but then gradually start to slow down. But second round, you know, he didn't look that bad either. In the second round, Jack is able to work into the clinch from after he throws a combination. He's able to get inside. But you know, Shahbazyan's able to fight it off, but then he gets taken down with the single and the clinch eventually. But then he's able to escape out the back. He's able to grab a leg, stand up, and then he's able to get a guillotine standing. But then he gets taken down to the half guard. Poor IQ, in my opinion. But then he's able to reverse whenever Jack goes for the back, and he's able to slide him off. And then he's able to keep him down for the rest of the round. So I thought it was a relatively closer round than the first time I watched it, but I guess Jack got it done. But then the third round, you know, Jack really turns it on him. But Edmen's able to pump the jab outside, lands an uppercut as Jack comes forward. He gets taken down with a double on the fence, but he pops back up initially. But he pops back up right away. But then gets taken down. He eats ground and pound and half guard and just eats heavy elbows throughout the rest of the fight, and really gets bloody, really gets battered. And, you know, Hermanson really put a stamp on that one. But, Shabazian looked amazing in the first round. And then Nasruddin Imavov, his last fight, he took on Ian Heinisch. In the first round, he eats the right hook, but he gets pressed to the fence. But he's able to keep the overhook in the clinch, and he's able to stay on his feet and not get taken down. But then he breaks out of there, stalks forward, pumps a jab. He lands a flying knee, slightly, but, kind of clips Ian. But then he's able to get around the back standing in a clinch situation. And then he's able to land short hooks whenever Ian rushes in, able to land some nice counter offense. And then he's able to stuff the single leg from space when Ian shoots. But then he eats a straight left as he's rushing forward. But then he eats leg kicks as he's pressing. But then a second round, he lands a check left hook as Ian swings big because, Ian kind of comes crazy with those hooks. But then he's able to press forward, able to land a 1-2 hooks, but he sprawls on the single, and then he's able to get a double leg takedown off a reshot. And then they get back on their feet, but he's able to stalk forward, land a 1-2. And then he's able to rock Ian off of Ian's kick, and with the jab off of Ian's kick, and he lands a flurry up against the fence, and then he lands a 1-2, and then a knee to the head, and just gets a knockout. Saw his opportunity, jumped on it to let him breathe. Take a look at the betting line, though. Kind of interesting. Imavov, -115. Shabazian, -105. Even money, basically. Line's money moved a little bit, but doesn't really matter. If Shabazian was underdog, I'd definitely take him. I don't know. I think Shabazian kind of got it figured out. I mean, he looked amazing the first round. Looked really good half the second round against Hermanson. He's only lost to league competition. It's a tough one. Nasruddin knocking out Heinisch is no easy task. It's really a toss-up here. I just got a feeling I like Edmen Shabazian here. Fight on the prelims at 185 again. You got Phil Hawes taking on Chris Curtis. Fight was supposed to happen a couple weeks ago. Curtis took it on a day's notice. Phil Hawes refused. Can't blame him. Phil Hawes, he took on Kyle Dawkins his last fight. In the first round of that fight, he level changes off of Kyle's jab, and he's able to get the double leg, but he gets reversed with the cement mixer into half guard from Kyle. But then his arm gets taken, but he's able to get to his feet, and then he gets clinched against the fence. And then the second round, he ducks his head. Able to duck the head kick of Kyle, but he gets rocked with the back fist. And then a flurry, Kyle, lands a flurry, sees the opportunity, pushes him up against the fence, but Phil is able to clear his head and not get hit so hard. And then he's able to stuff the trip attempt, and he's able to get on the back, in the standing position. But then he eats combinations as he's stalking. But his jab lands, and then he lands a straight right to the body, and then he lands a right hook, but then he gets clinched. But then he stalks forward, lands straight shots, and lands a head kick on the clinch break, and you can tell Phil's momentum's picking up here. Then in the third round, he throws straight shots, and he works his way into the single leg takedown, and then he lands ground and pound a half guard for like more than half the round, and Kyle just kind of had enough there, and Phil Hawes just beat the shit out of him, and got the victory. So came through adversity. And then Chris Curtis took on Kenny Robertson in his last fight in a different organization. In the first round, he stalks forward, lands a left hook to the body, and lands a 1-2 from range. Then he lands a counter uppercut as Kenny rushes forward. Then he stalks forward, pumps a jab, and then a left uppercut to the body, and then an overhand right. And then the second round, he eats a blitz, but he's able to cover, and he backs up. Doesn't take the brunt of it, and then he stuffs a single leg, and he lands a knee and an uppercut, but then he lands a left hook, but he gets clinched, but he's able to roll the punches, and doesn't take the full force of them, and then he lands a 3-2 up against the fence in the round. And then in the third round, he presses forward to the fence, lands 1-2s, and a counter left hook at range, and he stalks and lands a straight left. And then he lands left to the body and a knee, and he's able to stuff the low single leg attempt, and then he's able to land a combination on the fence, and then he's able to come forward and land a 1-2, and able to pick up the victory there. Curtis, decent at not getting hit. Phil Hawes, his cardio looked really good this last fight. That was a knock on him. He might get hurt, but he kind of gets hurt every fight. It's kind of his thing. You got two power punchers here, because Curtis has a puncher's chance, but Phil Hawes is the chance puncher, if you want to do that. Chris Curtis, plus 245. Phil Hawes, minus 310. I hate the price. I don't know what to think, man. Obviously, Chris Curtis can come here and do this and knock him out. I don't think so. Chris Curtis didn't knock out his last guy. Doesn't have amazing power. Phil Hawes has amazing power. I hate the price. I'm going to go with Phil Hawes here, though. Okay, and then for the come-in event of the prelims at 155, you got a banger, dude. I forgot to mention this in the preview, but you got Al Iaquinta taking on Bobby Green. Al Iaquinta, Raging Al, coming back after a 2-year-long layoff, taking on the fan favorite Bobby Green. Al Iaquinta, his last fight was a few years ago. He took on Dan Hooker in the first round. He's arm press. He gets pressed forward with the jab from Hooker, but then he eats a jab coming forward, but he lands a counter right, but then he eats a counter left hook and a leg kick. But then he's in on a single leg crackdown, but he eats elbows. Dan just kind of sits there and lands a bunch of elbows on him, but then he gets reversed and gets his back taken by Hooker. But then he misses his right hook and he eats a jab. And then in the second round, he lands left hook off of Hooker's kick. He shoots from too far away, but then he lands the right hook, and Hooker's able to stuff it easily. But then he lands the right hook to the body, and then an overhand right. But he eats a right head kick in the exchange. But then his single gets stuffed, and then he reshoots for a double, but Dan feeds his hips in, and he's able to get thrown on the back in a standing position. He's able to break free, though, but he eats a right hook and then a straight left, and then he gets dropped with the right hook toward the end of the round. And then in the third round, he eats jabs as he's pressing forward, and he presses forward and lands a head kick, but he eats a combination from Hooker on the return, and then he lands the right hook on the outside. But, Hooker just pieced him apart with the jab, basically, and dropped him, and Al couldn't really get him down. Hooker, decent wrestling defense. And then Bobby Green took on Rafael Fiziev his last fight. Great fight, by the way. In the first round, he lands a double jab as Rafael comes forward. He shoulder rolls the hooks from Rafael, but he eats the right hook. But then he lands a jab to the body and then to the head. But then he lands a short left as Bobby's coming forward. But then he lands the right hand and kick to the body kick. And then in the second round, he lands knees in the clinch. He eats hooks to the body, but he lands a left body kick. And he eats a straight right against the fence, and then he eats a flurry, but he lands a counter right, and then he's able to get the clinch. And that he kind of slowed the momentum down. I really like that he did that. And then he lands a 1-2 on the break, lands a 1-2 at range. But then he gets clinched to the fence and eats some elbows at the end of the round. But then in the third round, this is really Bobby's round here. He eats body kicks at range, but then he starts pressing forward, landing jabs and 1-2s. And then he lands a left hook to the body, lands a right hook, and then a jab. And then he's able to slip the hook of Rafael, and then he lands a counter 1-2. And then he jabs to the body and the head. He eats the right hook in the pocket, but he's able to circle out of it. But then he eats a head kick, but then he lands a hard right, and then a flurry to end the round and end the fight. And, Bobby, Fiziev, young, talented up-and-comer, but Bobby really took it to him. Bobby did not make it easy on him. Bobby still looks good, man. Not a finisher, really, but, he can still get this done. Bobby Green, minus 180. Al Iaquinta, plus 155. Al Iaquinta, pretty good fighter, but last couple fights before he retired, he lost to Cerrone, lost to Hooker. 2 years off after that. Bobby Green, no joke. Bobby Green's an exciting fighter. Bobby Green, not a knockout artist, and doesn't knock people out, but, he has power. He can crack for sure. And decent wrestling defense. My pick here is Bobby Green. For the main event of the prelims at 185 pounds, you got Alex Pereira, the guy that knocked out Israel Adesanya either once or twice, but he beat him twice, I believe, in Glory Kickboxing, taking on Andreas Michailidis. Pereira making his UFC debut. Before this, fought in another organization, LFA, I believe, might be wrong, but he took on a man named Thomas Powell, and wow, what a knockout. In the first round, presses forward, hurts him with a body kick, lands body, knees in the clinch, misses his spinning kick, and he gets clinched to the fence, but then he lands a head kick at range, eats a straight left, then he lands a check left hook, and knocks him the fuck out. And I mean, he doesn't move. From a check left hook, doesn't move for a while, like 10, 15 minutes. Doesn't move. So yeah, the dude's got power, but, hasn't really had that many MMA fights, so, and then Andreas Michailidis took on KB Buller his last fight in the first round, pressing forward, lands a jab and an overhand right. He lands a right head kick, then he lands a hook flurry, lands a right head kick, and then a right hook, and then a flurry, and then he gets a single leg takedown to the back, and he's able to get the hooks in and, work for submissions and whatnot. And then the second round, he lands a wild overhand right, and that's what he does, kind of just throws these hooks a little wild, which is bad for Pereira, but bad because Pereira is a precise puncher. Lands overhand right, and he clips him with hooks, and then he lands an overhand jab, and then a right in the pocket. And then in the third round, lands a spinning elbow, and then he lands a right to the body, and then hits him with some hook flurry. But, Michailidis presses forward a lot. Again, make it a dirty fight, so I like that. Andreas Michailidis, plus 210. Alex Pereira, minus 260. I don't like the price on Pereira. Hasn't proven himself to me. New to the sport of MMA. What he did in kickboxing was impressive, but, this is an MMA fight. My pick here is Andreas Michailidis. I like the money, and he's got a good shot, in my opinion. Okay, on to the main card. The first fight should have been the feature fight, but Trevor Whitman is coaching 3 goddamn people. So, 155, you got Justin Gaethje taking on Michael Chandler. And, whoever wins this is probably going to get a title shot, depending on what happens with Islam. Maybe not title shot right away. Whoever wins this fight is in a really good position. Let's put it that way. So, this is a big-time fighters in a big-time fight. Love to see it. Lots of violence. Okay, Justin Gaethje took on Khabib his last fight over a year ago, which I don't like, by the way. But anyway, in the first round, he backs up. He lands a wild right overhand, but he eats a jab. But he lands hard leg kicks as Khabib's coming forward. But then he lands overhand right as Khabib's coming forward. But then he presses forward, but then he eats a 1-2 and then a body kick from Khabib and then a flying knee. But then he's able to land a body shot and a left hook whenever he's circling against the fence. Oh yeah, Khabib, backs him up against the fence the whole, not against the fence, but Gaethje's circling along the outside. But then he lands a leg kick and a left hook. But then he gets taken down with the double from space. Blast double, really far away. Surprised Gaethje got taken down with it. Whatever. And then he almost gets put in an armbar, but the round ends. But then the second round, he lands a hard leg kick that kind of wobbles Khabib, but Khabib just keeps coming forward because it's Khabib. And then he gets taken down off of his leg kick. Khabib catches it and gets a double. And then he gives his back, and then Khabib just works his way to full mount, like all in one swoop, and then puts him in a triangle, gets it on top. Khabib goes to his back, puts him in a triangle. Gaethje taps. Wow, dude. Khabib's a monster. Gaethje looked bad in this fight just because we're used to seeing him wreck people, but Khabib is Khabib. But, his ground game is pretty bad, to be honest, so that's what I took from that fight. And then Michael Chandler took on Charles Oliveira for the belt his last time. In the first round, he landed straight right to the body, and then he lands a left hook, but he gets taken down with a double, but he has a deep guillotine in, but he lets it go because he's not that stupid. But then he gives up his back, and then Charles gets around his back, and then he just stands up and slams Charles on his back, which is like one of the things you don't do, but it's Michael Chandler, and he did it, and created space, and he was able to get it free eventually. And then he explodes into him, and he's able to get on top, and then, just land some shots on top, and then back on the feet, and then he drops him with the right hand and lands punches from their fight headlock position, where we thought the fight was going to be stopped, but it wasn't, where Michael Chandler almost won the fight, yeah. And then he just gets on top of him. The debate, should he let him up, get on top of him? He gets on top of him and just lands some punches from full guard, kind of rest because he knows he's not going to finish him this round. Then in the second round, this is where I really question Michael Chandler's ring IQ. He presses forward, lands a jab, but then he gets hit with he has his right hand down because he's going to throw it. He pumps his jab, and then he gets hit with the counter left hook, and then he gets dropped, and then he eats a flurry, and then he gets dropped to left hook again and gets TKO'd. And, because Michael Chandler had his hand down, and because, he was in kill mode. And Charles Oliveira healed a lot in that 1 minute, so that was bad ring IQ from him. And honestly, I was thinking about this. If it was even or close, or Gaethje was the underdog, I would pick him. But Michael Chandler is plus 175 underdog. Gaethje minus 210. Gaethje might be able to take him down or something. Chandler might be able to take him down or something. But Chandler hits hard too. Gaethje hits hard, but the plus money, man. Chandler's doesn't have the best ring IQ. Kind of just sees red and goes for it. But who knows, man? Gaethje hasn't fought in a long time. I don't like that. My pick here is Michael Chandler. Okay, and then the second fight on the main card, you got a fun banger at men's featherweight. You got Shane Burgos taking on Billy Quarantillo. Shane Burgos needs a win, and Billy Quarantillo, this is a huge spot for him because he'd break into the rankings. Good fighter, had a big win last time, and looking to get ranked. So Shane Burgos took on Edson Barboza his last fight. In the first round, he eats a hard right hook in the clinch, then he eats leg kicks as he's pressing forward, but he eats a spinning back kick, but he clinches him to the fence, and then he lands left hook to the body, and then it lands a jab as he's pressing forward, then he eats a back kick to the head, but then he eats overhand right at range, and then he gets rocked with a short overhand right by Barboza, and then he eats 3 leg kicks in a row. Barboza's a beast. And then in the second round, he eats a jab and a leg kick, and he lands a right hook to the body, and then he's able to circle out, and then he eats an uppercut and then a short left hook. But then he lands a left to the body inside the pocket, and then he lands a right to the body and then a left hook to the head, and he lands a right leg kick, but then he eats a 1-2. And then in the third round, he lands leg kicks, and he throws his jab, but he gets countered with a straight right and just gets knocked the fuck out. And, it was the viral knockout. It took him like 5-8 seconds for him to get knocked out. Like, he gets hit, and then he's fine, backs up, standing there, and then he just drops. So I don't know if that's some kind of medical condition or what. Thank goodness he's okay, but still, hard shot from Barboza. Gets knocked out. Looked okay, but, Barboza, just he's just too content with getting hit, in my opinion. And then Billy Quarantillo took on Gabriel Benitez his last fight, looked really good. In the first round, comes forward, lands 1-2, but eats a kind of left hook, but he knocks him down but he's able to knock him down with a straight right, and then he lands some heavy ground upon a full guard, and then he's able to get the body triangle around the back, but then back on the feet, he hits a flying knee, but he returns with hooks, and he's able to crack him. And in the second round, he lands a 1-2, and then a knee to the head, and then he gets a double on the fence, and he gets able to get back control, able to threaten the rear naked choke again, which is always nice to see, slow down the pace of the fight. But then he lands a short right hook on the fence, and he's able to get the clinch again, but then he gets an easy double off the fence, but then he eats a knee to the body, in the front headlock position, but he lands a combination up against the fence when he gets out, and then he lands a straight right. And then in the third round, he gets dropped with the straight left off a kick, but then he's able to get up and land an uppercut, and then he lands 2 straight rights, and then he shoots a double leg against the fence, and then he gets he's able to shoot the double leg from the pocket, and then he's able to put the hooks in and get back control and just work the rear naked choke and just keep hitting him, and he's able to get the TKO victory. Just a workmanlike performance by him. And, he looked good. A little bit of adversity there, but, Billy's really tough and just either went for a takedown or some hard shots. Was always pressing forward, looked really good. But Billy Quarantillo plus 170, Shane Burgos minus 200. I don't like the price here, but here's the deal. Shane Burgos, Chin might be suspect. Billy Quarantillo is not a power puncher. He's a good grappler. And, if he gets you on the ground, you're in trouble. But I think Shane Burgos is the better striker here. Minus 200, that's where you really want to question it again. And, I'm sorry, I just can't see Shane Burgos losing to Billy Quarantillo, not at this point anyway. Billy Quarantillo lost to Gavin Tucker before this, so, I think it's a little too soon to think he can beat Shane Burgos. I think it'll be a fun, entertaining fight. I think Shane Burgos will be able to keep the distance. Takedown defense should be decent. And, I think he'll be able to at least win 2 out of 3 rounds. My pick here is Shane Burgos. On the feature fight of the main card, fun fight, fun banger at bantamweight. You got Marlon Vera taking on the legend, Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar, he's not going to win a title, but he's still got some fight left in him, and I think he still wants to have some fun fights, and I think he wants to win. And, it's a fun fight. Marlon Vera, up-and-comer. Got some steam beating Sean O'Malley, and then tough loss to Aldo, and then just looked really good against David Grant, so it should be a really good, fun fight. Both guys really want to win this, and huge opportunity for either guy, honestly. Marlon Vera took on David Grant in his last fight. In the first round, he heats a left hook to the body, but then he lands a knee and the palm tie, pulls it really quick and lands to the head, which I always like seeing, but then he heats right to the body, and then a straight left, but then he catches a knee and he's able to get the takedown. In the second round, he clinches towards the fence, then he lands a knee to the body, but then he eats a 1-2 on the break, but then he lands elbows in the collar tie, which is nice, hard elbows too, and then he eats a spinning back, kick, but then he clinches, but he gets taken down with the wizard kick. Grant's just a little crafty. Marlon not that great on the ground, to be honest, but then he's able to lock up, reverse triangle, then he's able to roll through, and he's able to get out of the guillotine attempt from Grant, bad ring on Grant's part, and then he's able to get to the full mount and land some ground and pound and end the round out, so it was really good, and, might get taken down, but, he can get out, so it's good. And then in the third round, he stuffs a shot, and then he gets on Grant's back, and then he's able to get the full mount, and then he's able to use the arm triangle just to keep himself there. It doesn't really go for it 100%, but keeps him able to keep him on there with it. And then but then they get back on the feet, but he hits a short right in the pocket, but then he lands a knee to the head, and then an elbow flurry on Grant, and then he's able to get the body lock trip takedown, and he's able to get around the back, and he maintains control the whole time, and then he's able to get the hooks in and go for the rear naked choke attempt, doesn't get it, but, finished round very strong. David Grant's face was all messed up. The dude Marlon Vera hits hard, especially on the ground. So. And then Frank Edgar took on Pedro Munoz. He took on Corey Sandhagen in his last fight, but that fight didn't happen, okay? Didn't happen. But yeah, he got knocked out real quick with a flying knee, so it is what it is. It's Corey Sandhagen. But Edgar took on Munoz before that last August, a little while ago. In the first round, he lands a 1-2 off Pedro's leg kick, but then he hits a straight right in the pocket, but then he lands a straight right, and he's able to duck out of it really quick. Frankie, older, still moving really quick, really sharp, but then he eats overhand right, but then he circles out, and then he eats a counter left as he's coming forward, though. And then the second round, he lands an overhand right, but then he's able to circle out, and then he lands a 1-2 as Pedro comes forward, but he gets pressed to the fence, but he's able to duck the arm and get a quick double leg. Nothing much, but he's able to get it down real quick, but then back on the feet, he eats a jab. Then in the third round, he lands a short left as Pedro presses forward. He lands a 1-2 off of Pedro's leg kick, and then he lands a straight right, and then a left hook, but he eats a jab as he's moving forward, but then he eats a hard leg kick. Then in the fourth round, he's able to catch the kick, and he's able to get the double leg again, and then back on the feet, he's able to land a three-punch straight combination as Pedro's moving forward, but then he eats the jab, and he's coming forward, but then he lands left hook, and the round more go less like that for the next 2 rounds. Very close fight, could go back and forth either way. Frankie got the decision. It's okay to disagree, but very close. But Frankie, slipping. He was able to. He'll be able to land 3-4 punch combinations, get out of the way, get the double when he needs it, and able to stick a jab when he has to, and just be a little. He's a little quicker than Pedro, it seemed like. So he still got it. He looked really good in that fight. Frankie Edgar plus 140, Vera minus 160. Close fight. Vera is not a knockout puncher. He's very powerful on the ground, but he has to get them to the ground to do that, and Frankie Edgar is the better wrestler. It's not like he can take every single person down, but I think he'll be able to take Marlon Vera down. Marlon Vera's wrestling defense isn't that great. He might be able to get up, but I think Frankie will be able to control him. He'll be able to grind it out. I think he'll be able to stick and move a lot. My pick here is Frankie Edgar. And in the co-main event, you got the rematch nobody asked for. Not one person, but it's happening. Women's strawweight 115, you got Rose Namajunas taking on Zhang Weili in the rematch for the belt again. And, I didn't really do tape or anything on this. I just watched the last fight. Last fight isn't that long. Basically, Rose pumps a jab. She's in and out. And then Rose lands a left leg high kick at range, and Zhang gets knocked the fuck out. It happens in about a minute, and that's that. And, the line, Rose is plus 100, Zhang is minus 120, which I think is absolutely insane for Rose to be anything less than minus 200. And I don't see the fight going any differently. I don't think she'll get knocked out that quick, but like, Zhang's not going to win, especially for this price, plus 100. Zhang made a lot of excuses, and she's taking this fight right away, which is never good. And just based off historical data, whenever somebody rematches for a title right away, they usually don't win unless it's Stipe Miocic. But, pretty simple here, man. Like, I don't really have too much to say. Rose Namajunas, plus 100. She just knocked her the fuck out. Take that all day. Put a lot of money on there. My pick here is Rose Namajunas. Okay, and then for the main event, the rematch that I wanted to see, I didn't think it should happen right away. Mostly because Colby Covington didn't fight enough people, but it is what it is. It's here. I'm not going to deny it. I'm going to watch it. It's going to be a great fight. Their first fight was fucking amazing. You got Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman, taking on Colby Chaos Covington for 170-pound strap. And, wow. This is it, man. What can I say? Everybody's been wanting to see this rematch. I just don't like Colby's inactivity. Kamaru's 3 title defenses in that time. Colby beat Tyron Woodley that Gilbert Burns already beat. So, what does that tell you? But it's here. I'm just going to go over the last fight, kind of how my mind made up before this. And, Kamaru's been knocking guys out since their fight. Covington's been wrestling and just piecing up Tyron Woodley, but nothing new there. So in their last fight, happened a couple years ago, first round, Kamaru lands a right hook in the pocket, but then he lands a right hook in an exchange, then he lands a straight, and then he lands another straight right, but then Colby lands a right over the top of Usman's jab, then Colby lands a hard left hook, and then he lands a flying knee, but Colby lands an overhand left inside the pocket. And then in the second round, Usman lands a stiff jab at range, Colby lands a few left hooks, they both trade jabs, both jab each other's faces off, but then Usman lands a left to the body off of Colby's jab, and then Usman lands a right to the body. Then in the third round, Usman lands a knee to the body inside in the clinch, then he lands a straight right, and then he lands a right to the body at range, which is really useful because Usman was doing that, just piecing him up with that body shot. People don't really notice it, but by the end of the fight, it takes the wind out of you, especially Colby, who has really good cardio. And then he lands a front kick to the body, and then he lands a left hook as Colby's coming forward, and then Colby lands a left head kick. Then in the fourth round, they both swing wildly, and Colby lands a head kick, but then Usman lands right to the body, and then a front kick. That was another thing, a teep kick to the body. Just doing some sneaky body work from Usman. And then Colby lands a right hook, but then Usman lands a right hook off of Colby's jab, and then Colby lands an uppercut, and then Usman presses forward and lands straight rights, and then he lands another, and then they reset. He lands another straight right, and then Colby lands a left hook in the pocket. Then in the 5th round, where it all mattered, Colby lands a counter left hook off of Usman's straight right, but then Usman presses forward, lands a right cross, and then a stiff left, and then he lands a short, and then he's able to land a short left hook, but then he's able to drop him with a straight right jab, and then he gets back up and he swarms him, and then he's able to drop him again with a right cross, and then he's able to, and then Colby shoots for a leg, Kamaru gets on top of him, keeps hitting him, around that, some in the back of the head, okay, but hits him on the side of the head and gets a TKO, a little premature maybe, but it doesn't matter. He smelled blood and got it done, and he dropped him twice in that round anyway, so that round probably would have been a 10-8, and I don't think, there's no way Colby was winning that fight up until that point. I don't think so. I really don't. It would have been a robbery. But, yeah, man. And then since that time, Usman got the better of the striking. Colby had some nice overhand lefts, had some nice uppercuts. Nice head kick from Colby. I kind of forgot about that. But, Usman had the fundamentals, a stiff jab, straight right, stayed disciplined, stayed in the, just kept coming forward, man. And since then, he knocked out Gilbert Burns. He can take a shot. Colby doesn't hit that hard anyway, though, so it doesn't really matter. And then Masvidal, just the same thing he did to Colby, but didn't get hit as much and stay at range, and was able to line up his straight right. And he has power. It's laser precise. And Covington, nothing really different against Woodley, man. Just throws whatever out there, throws wild, and goes for the takedown and gets it, and just does whatever he does on top. Just enough to outwork you, and that's fine, but I think Usman's going to win. I don't see how it goes any differently. Colby Covington plus 250, Kamaru Usman minus 320. Kind of got nervous, but that's no reason. I shouldn't be nervous for this fight, man. Like, Covington is not going to get it done. Kamaru, if it does go to the 5th round again, Kamaru knows what he has to do to get it done. He's going to get it done. And that's it, man. Kamaru can just... he's the champion for a reason, and he just had 3 title defenses, about to be 4. My pick here is Kamaru Usman. I don't care what the money line is. Kamaru Usman's never lost, and, he's looked good, and Colby Covington has barely done anything since they fought. He hasn't fought in over a year, so that's that. Okay, guys, thank you. Appreciate you riding with me. Had a decent weekend last weekend. Fun weekend of fights. This weekend's going to be even better. Maybe not. Maybe not. It doesn't turn out to be better, but better names. But anyway, still going to be a fun card either way. Last weekend was awesome. It's great we get 2 back-to-back weekends like this. Great time to be a fight fan, like I said. And then 170-pound title match. You got, huge implications, obviously. Because Khamzat Chimaev has entered this conversation. It's going to be really interesting. We need to get this fight out of the way first to see what happens with all that. And then Masvidal and Leon Edwards. It's a very exciting division as of last Saturday because Khamzat came in here, basically. Same with 155 and Islam. It's nuts how those 2 guys made that big of an impact in one day. Yeah, it's amazing. Anyway, I appreciate it. We're definitely going to win this weekend. We got some good underdog spots here. Last weekend was hard. A lot of big lines, a lot of huge favorites, but we got some good underdogs I like here. I appreciate everybody riding with me, watching my videos. Please subscribe, like, tell your friends, leave comments, have a discussion with me, ask me questions, tell me some things I need to learn too. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, do post-fight recaps, all that. Tweet out some stuff here and there, whatever. But I appreciate it. Thanks for riding with me, and let's get this money. And more importantly, let's see some crazy-ass fights, and let's have fun.